Welcome to the Wine Cage. I'm Dylan.
I'm Amanda.
And on this Friday night, we are getting into the Grenache, Wizardry Grenache. I don't know why it says Grenache twice. This is a Grenache made by Bortoli from the Heathcote region. And it's a wine that we've drank a few times because it's a 2020 release. And picked it up again recently because I did also come across it in a list of best reds under 30. And I knew I'd had it before, but I couldn't really remember what we had made of it when we'd had it before. So I wanted to pick it up and check it out. The whole wizardry thing, we were wondering about that. It says on the back, the sun-loving Southern European-born Grenache is the wizard of the warmer climates. Clever, surprising, magical, with a bit of the dark arts thrown in. We want to know what they specifically mean by that, because that's a claim.
That sure is.
Yeah. But before we get into the nose and taste and everything on this one, as usual, we're going to have a little chat about the whole look of it, the label and everything. And I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on that.
My thoughts about this are sort of scattered, to be honest. At first blush, I think it's quite eye-catching. It's unusual with the low-slung sort of, horizontal label there. It's got an interesting shape to it. It's only the two colours, red and black, and the type is sort of nicely debossed with a gloss spot on it. Quite tasteful. That being said, it's a little... I don't know. What kind of vibe does that give to you? It's sort of a little bit cowboy or something, isn't it?
Well, I was just thinking about it then, and I was thinking about the whole wizard thing. Do you think what they're going for? Because compared to most other wine labels, this is very minimal. It's kind of just got this. There's all this just open space. Do you reckon that they're actually trying to give it something that from a distance looks a little bit alchemical? Do you know what I mean? Like it looks a little timeless. There's not much on there. There's just this sort of mysterious little red label. Are they going for an actual vibe, a branding thing, or do you think it has nothing to do with it? Does this scream rodeo to you more than like Gandalf?
To me, it screams rodeo. It looks a little bit like a leather patch that might be sewn on the back of a denim jacket or something.
You're
like
right.
that.
This does look like the back pocket of a redneck's jeans. That's a great way of putting it.
That being said, I give it points for originality. It's eye-catching on the shelf, and it definitely is one that I've noticed many times when I've been walking through the wine aisles. So, pros and cons.
From a graphic design perspective, someone trained in the dark arts of graphic design, what do all these lines? What do you make of all these kind of lines everywhere? Like, what is that called in graphic design?
I don't know if there's really a name for it, and if there is, it escapes me. But it's just sort of there to highlight different words. I think they've overdone it. It's at the top. It's around the middle word, and it's around the bottom word as well. And then there's like a key line around the entire thing. So it's a lot of lines.
And they've got dots and X's and arrows.
Yeah,
everything.
Yep. They sure do, which again, I think for me brings the vibe of like a country and western kind of thing. It reminds me a little bit of stitching on a saddle or something like that, you know. But
now that you've said that, that's all I can see. I think that's accurate.
I have no idea if that's what they were going for or not. It seems like an odd combo, but it kind of works. It's confusing. I feel confused.
Yeah. And I feel irritated that I didn't do my top button up because my mic keeps flopping down.
Whoops.
But we'll make do. That's all the packaging and the look of it, which we like to talk about. Just a bit of a tease before we get to what really matters. So let's have a smell and see what the aroma's like on this one. I'm just going to pour it onto my face.
Nice.
What do you think about the aroma on this?
Well, I would say it's very subtle. It's very minimal. It's sort of candied It's got quite a sweet smell to me.
I think also we both had the same reaction when we first cracked this, that it's not much of a nose, actually. It's quite weak and faint. It's not a strong aroma on the nose at all. It's quite subtle. There's not much there. There's a tiny bit of edge, bit of spice. But other than that, it's like a distant nose, like you can't get your face far into the glass enough. Are you just under the spell of the wizard?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, sorry.
Just traveling in the...
Was I meant to say something there?
No, it's just I looked at you to see if you had any thoughts, and you were just going...
I look like that most of the time.
All right, that's the nose. Let's see what the wizard tastes like. That doesn't sound good. My thoughts on this one, tasting it, is that it's like wading into a cool pool. You know, when you sort of just step into one of those shallow pools, maybe in a nice hotel or something, you're a bit hot and the pool is just cool enough. Not cold, but just cool enough. That's the vibe I get from this one. It's sweet with a periphery of spice. There's a bit of a tingle on the tongue. It's one note wine. It doesn't evolve, but that one note is quite pleasant. I really like it. What do you think?
I think for me, it's veering a little too simple for my tastes. It's very good. The tastes that are there are very pleasant. It's quite light tasting, but I believe the alcohol content's actually decent. It's sort of around 8.4 or 8.5 standard drinks per bottle.
That's the dark arts.
That's
how they did it. Yeah.
Trick you into a false sense of security. I like the flavors. I think it's very easy on the palate. It's quite moreish, but
I think that's the thing with this one, is that it's easy drinking, super easy drinking, but it's not boring. Some wines are easy drinking because they're just too smooth and too boring, especially some of the cheaper European wines that rely on sweetness and roundness. This one is really easy drinking, but it actually has an interesting and very satisfying flavor to me. But I think we're receiving this one slightly differently, which is fine. But I really like it. So before we get to my rating, I'm interested to know what your rating out of 10 is on this one.
I think for me, it's a 7.5. I like it. It's not one I'd probably write home about, but I'm very excited to have it with dinner tonight. So
this one is the retail is $21.20, and we got it from our retailer at $16. It was on special though, so don't expect that. The official retail, I think, is $21, something like that. So what I want to know is, would you repurchase this?
That's a good question. We've drunk some bangers lately. We've had some really nice wines, so it's got some competition. But for that price bracket, if we can grab it on special again, sure.
Yeah, I would definitely repurchase this, especially at 16. But I'd probably even repurchase it at 20 again. There's something I really like about this one. It's very satisfying. Yes, it's not complex in terms of evolution on the palate, but who cares? It tastes great. And I mostly enjoy red with food, but I could drink this free. I could drink a good glass or two of this without food and still really enjoy it. I know there's nothing unusual about that, but I mean, we mostly drink red with food. So to say that I could do that means that I really like it, to not have it, being balanced by the savouriness of food. So that's de Bortoli's Wizardry Grenache from Heathcote 2020. We would love it if you viewers could tell us some of the wines that you've been enjoying, especially if you've got a banger in that $10 to $50 range. We would love some recommendations. So if you've had a good red recently, or if you've just got a favorite that's been around for a few years, please do put them in the comments so that we can research them and hopefully pick them up and review them as well. But otherwise, that's going to be another one from us on the Wine Cage. Thanks so much for watching, and we hope to see you on the next one.
Cheers.